Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is Constance of The Reader, and today we're going to be doing the May wrap-up. It is June 1st, so it is time to let you know how many books I read, and in my opinion, I did a really good job. So my goal was to read mostly manga this month of May, and I did it. We did it, Joe. I did it, and I'm very happy, feeling very good. So right now, where I'm at in terms of my reading challenge for Goodreads, you know, my goal is 200 books. I'm at 90, so I'm really, really close to being half of the way done. I think that's a good place for me to be. Obviously, half the year's gone. So, feeling pretty good about it. So, we're going to get into manga first because that is what I read most of in this month. So, let's get right into it. So, I read 6 volumes, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. 6 volumes of Fire Force. 26 is the latest volume, so I have to wait till volume 27 comes out. I cannot remember when that is. It may be this month, it may be in July, but this is going really, really great. I definitely can see where we're possibly going to see, like, we've already seen hints of how Soul Eater somehow connects with this. So I'm very excited. I think coming up, one of the volumes I'm going to get is going to have the sun for Soul Eater, and I'm so excited about that. But yeah, going really good. All the characters are doing, well, most of the characters are doing fine, knock on wood. And it's what you expect from Fire Force if you've watched it. Just very action-packed, lots of drama, and a lot of shit is going down. I mean, the big deal is about to happen. So loving it so far. Next, I read volumes 1 through 10 of Hunter x Hunter, which is the goal I said I wanted. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to read every single volume of Hunter x Hunter in the month of May, but I wanted to at least knock out 10, and so far so good. Right now, we have seen the Hunter exam. We have seen them go to the Tower of Heaven, Gon and Killua. We have seen the introduction of the Spider Troop. We have seen what's going on with Kurapika. So as someone who watched the anime, which is also not finished, like this series is not completed, the author creator just recently came out and said that he was doing some more chapters, so that's really exciting. But even though it's not done, it's just really fun to revisit the story again, which I absolutely recommend. You should watch it, you should read it. Either one is really good, but I'm loving reading it, I'm loving reading it and seeing the story all over again because it's very fun. So I absolutely recommend. Honestly, even though the series is not completely done, it's going to be like a 5-star for me because I'm just enjoying myself so much. Even if I hadn't watched the anime, I know that I would really like this series. Next up, I read volumes 1 through 8 of Nana. I really wanted to read volumes 1 through 10 of this, but it just didn't end up happening because volumes 9 and 10 are a lot thicker than 1 through 8. That's okay, but I definitely kind of went into a reading slump towards the end of volume 8. Like I said, this is different from what I'm used to reading in terms of manga. This is more like everyday people living their life and the drama that ensues from that. It's nothing like Hunter x Hunter or Fire Force or The Promised Neverland. You know, this is just people living their lives in Tokyo in the 90s, early 2000s. It's 2 girls named Nana. They're both kind of from like the country or whatever. They both experience some type of heartache in some way, and they decide to go to Tokyo. They meet each other on the train, and it's fate from there. They become best friends, they live together, and then they're experiencing their lives together, and it's becoming more entangled now, which is interesting to read. But the one Nana, whose nickname is Hachi, she just made a decision that I'm not happy with, and I really genuinely hope that that's not the decision that she stays with. So we will have to wait and see. I think that this series is a little bit over 20 volumes, so you know, I'm almost there. I'm almost halfway done, almost. But so far I'm enjoying it. Is this going to be a genre that I reach for? Probably not. I prefer the like fantasy action type more, but I do think that it's fun and it's a nice break from the action drama stuff that I'm used to reading, if that makes sense. Would recommend. I also read Bleach, but I only read volumes 1 and 2 of this. I really had wanted to read all 10 volumes. 10 volumes because I wanted to do Hunter x Hunter, Nana, and Bleach. 10 volumes of each. That didn't happen, but it's okay. The first 2 volumes are basically the story that I've watched so far in the anime because I did not make it very far. I just kind of, you know, I just ended up getting distracted with something else. But so far, so good. I know I'm going to continue to like the series. The first 2 volumes, like I said, are the first, I don't know, maybe 6 episodes of the anime. So I already know what happened, but it's okay. I'm still enjoying it. Really liked it. Would recommend. And last, when I started to kind of get into that reading slump with Nana, I decided that I wanted to pick up Chainsaw Man. So the tattoo artist that I met in Seattle, who did my As Death tattoo, the first part of it, she was also guesting at a shop that I sometimes go to here in Richmond. So we decided, hey, let's finish the tattoo. She's somebody who likes Chainsaw Man. A lot of her flash is Chainsaw Man. So I figured, you know what? Let me read this. We didn't end up talking about it, which is totally fine. But I started it. I have the first 10 volumes. The 11th volume, I think, comes out this month. If not this month, in July. And so far, it's very interesting. So basically, it's like humans, devils. There is a group of people who hunts the devils. It kind of gave me Kaiju 8 vibes where, you know, there are monsters, there are monster killers, and then there's the cleanup crew. Our main character in Kaiju 8 is part of the cleanup crew and has always wanted to be a part of the military aspect of killing the monsters, not the cleaning up of the monsters. He inadvertently becomes a hybrid of a monster and a human in Hijinks Sensu. Kind of similar here, except a lot more bloody and a lot more gross. Denji is our main character. He is trying to pay off the debts that his father had before he died. He ends up making a deal with the devil, and that was a chainsaw devil. So now he has chainsaws coming out of his head and arms. And he seems like, I've only read the first 3 volumes of this, and something is special about him. I'm not sure how he's any more special than anyone else yet, but he joins the, I don't know, the government, like, funded people who try to find the devils, not the hybrids, and kill them because they're not good. But like I said, it's very, very bloody, very freaky. I mean, obviously, if someone has chainsaws coming out of their head and hands, you're gonna expect some carnage. But also, Denji is, you know, this guy who's never really experienced anything like a normal person would. So he's obsessed with boobs and kissing women. That's just a part of the book. But so far, so good. I am really hoping to read all the volumes that I own in the month of June, though. So we shall see. Hopefully I can catch up and get the other volumes of this series knocked out before the newest one comes out. So good. Wish me luck. I'm going to go ahead and add this one to what I read. I'm only a chapter away from being done, but in my opinion, because it usually takes me about a month to read a nonfiction book, I feel like I should add it to this because I don't want to put it in the TBR because I'm literally almost done. I'll finish it today. So it's going in this one. And that was New Handbook for Post-Roe America, The Complete Guide to Abortion Legality, Access, and Practical Support by Robin Marty. So unless you lived under a rock, in the month of May, we all found out the Supreme Court had a draft that got leaked where it seems like they're going to try to overturn Roe v. Wade. That's a very important thing to me because I don't agree. Okay, I really do not agree with that. And F you to everybody who's on the Supreme Court who was supporting that. Y'all can, I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not gonna get too graphic on this channel. But I think you can guess what the hell I want to say. And when everything like that happened, it got me mad. It got me heated, understandably so. And of course, I follow people who are pro-choice on TikTok. And one of the people that I follow, whom I really liked, whipped this book out and was like, y'all should read this. And I was like, holy shit, I own this. I bought this at the beginning of the year. So this is the perfect time for me to read it. So far, it's really great. The things I like about this book is that it debunks a lot of myths that people have, which happens in pretty much every single book I read that's about reproductive rights, which I think is really good. If you end up in conversations with people who are anti-choice and just keeping yourself more informed, I really appreciate the fact that it gives you resources for how you can help, whether it's financial or physical. And it's not just, hey, go down to your local clinic and help be a volunteer. It's also you know, reach out to people who have these specific organizations, which they do list in the book, and, you know, see how you can help. Gas cards. Can you offer room and board in your house? Can you help transport someone to a clinic if they have spent most of their money already getting here, and you're going to house them, and then you can help them get back and forth from the hospital, not the hospital, but, you know, the clinic. I like stuff like that because it gives you a ton of resources and information for you to help. It also talks about, you know, in the event that you may have to give yourself a self-induced abortion. Some people might not like that, but I think that it's still important to know and how to stay safe. And then it also gave a lot of information on certain states and, you know, what happens in some states if Roe v. Wade was overturned, trigger laws that happen. Interestingly enough, there aren't as many severe trigger laws in the state of Virginia, which was surprising to me because I had not gone and looked that up. Nowhere, even though this is a southern state, you know, knock on wood, even though we have Youngkin as a governor, it's not looking like Louisiana or Texas or Florida. We're okay, knock on wood. But yeah, so I would recommend this book. Another book I would recommend is Without Struggle, and then Pro, I think her name is by Kathy Pollitt, which is about reproductive rights. Again, this is a subject that is really important to me as someone who is pro-choice and someone who is pro-abortion. I think that it's important to know what you should expect if something like this happens, whether you're someone like me who doesn't want, well, especially if you're someone like me who doesn't want children, because we know that there is a possibility that, you know, hey, me and my husband, we're two cis-gendered people who are rocking and rolling, okay? There is always a 50-50 chance that we could have a child, but we both know as people who are in their 30s that we do not want that. I'm fortunate. My husband will get a vasectomy, so I don't have to get my tubes tied and have to go through the really invasive, long, and financial process, if I even get a yes, if someone says that to me. But this could affect some people like us who don't want kids. I don't want to be forced to have children, and neither does my husband. And we also don't want there to be a possibility that, hey, if I were to possibly end up pregnant, what if my body had a miscarriage? You know, for those people who already have children and sometimes have fertility issues, like what happens to us? So this is a book that talks about that, and I thought it was really interesting. So I would give it a read if I were you, if you're interested in the topic. If you want to just be informed for yourself, if you want to inform others, get it. I believe that the first version of this book, so it's not the new handbook for post-Roe America, it's just the handbook for post-Roe America, is on Hoopla, and like the cover is red instead of blue. This one might also be on Hoopla if I'm not mistaken, but the person that I mentioned at the beginning whose TikTok mentioned this, they had mentioned that I believe the publisher made this free as an ebook, not like through Amazon, but I think through the website. So look into that. I didn't look into it because I already owned it. I bought this in February. But you know, if you're interested in reading it, try Hoopla, obviously any other app, and then see if you can get this as an ebook for free. But I would recommend this for sure. Next up, I read Wonton Terror by Vivian Chen. This was fantastic. This is book 4 in the series. Did not see the twist coming with this one. Was very, very surprised by what happened. You know, Megan and Lana are up to their hijinks again, trying to solve a murder. And as you can guess, they're probably a little successful, but not gonna give it away. Anyway, so Lana and Peter are working together in a food truck at like the night market where a bunch of different businesses like food restaurants and vendors like for jewelry and clothes are coming together. And what ends up happening is after the night is kind of winded down, another food truck is blown up, and it is of the family from somebody that her mother was friends with as a child, like when Lana was a child. So she knows this couple's son who owned the food truck in a restaurant. But she doesn't remember like what happened. Like they kind of had a falling out, but she can't remember because she was so young. So it's a combination of trying to figure out who did this, who blew up their food truck, who had a motive to kill, who ends up dying in the food truck because someone does die, and why would this happen? And also what happened with her mom and the other woman, the wife. So it was really interesting. I enjoyed it. I liked the twist. Like I said, I didn't see it coming until Lana basically puts that final piece together. I absolutely recommend. I'm trying to get my sister to read book 1. So if I were you, I would give it a read, please. So the next book I read was Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I'm not going to go into great detail because I actually did a book review of this in my last video. If you want to check it out, I'll put it in the cards up somewhere. But really good. I believe I rated this like 4 stars. This is about a married couple, Amelia and Adam. They're going away to a chapel mansion type situation in Scotland to kind of work on their marriage. One interesting fact about Adam is that he has face blindness, because that is important to the story. So you're getting their perspectives in each and every chapter, or alternating chapters. And then you're also reading the letters that his wife has written to him every single year on their anniversary. And there's always a theme, because they do the traditional thing where, you know, when you give a gift for your anniversary, it has like, do the theme that's cotton. This year is, I don't know, steel, paper, blah, blah, blah. I didn't do that with my husband, so I have no idea. But yeah, so you're seeing them present day, knowing that something has happened to make them have a falling out for the most part. And then you're reading these letters that start at the very beginning of the relationship. And then obviously you're going to see how things have deteriorated. I did not see the big twist in this book, which was really exciting for me. There were a few things I figured out, but it was not disappointing in any way. I genuinely liked that about this book. You really have to see who is lying, because there's a lot of liars in this book. Some lies are a lot less serious than others, but all are very serious in my opinion. And I really liked it. I was also really happy because this is a Book of the Month Club book. So I knocked a few more of these off of my TBR, because I have far too many that I haven't read than I have read in all the ones that I bought. And because it is June 1st, I already chose my next books for this month, and I got 3. So I'm not doing myself any favors. So those are all the books that I finished in the month of May. Now we're going to talk about ones that I'm in the middle of reading. I know I mentioned that the one that's Post Row America, I only had like 1 chapter left, so I decided to put it in. I don't want to talk about it as a TBR book. So yeah, these are all the ones that I finished, or not quite finished, but I'm almost there. I'll probably finish that tonight. And now we'll talk about the ones that like I'm in the middle of. You know, we will just keep kind of moving through them as much as possible, even if it's kind of slow moving for me. So guess what? I did it. I started this book. I finally started one of the books I took off my shelf. That was for the Anita Blake series that I have been struggling to finish my reread of. It is very, very slow going, because I had big plans to like do one of those like tiered ranking things. Lord have mercy. Who knows when that will ever happen, considering the fact that like I keep saying I'm going to reread the series and it's going so freaking slow. But Burnt Offerings, at this point now, Anita, you know, she's hooked up with Jean-Claude. So she is with the vampire now. She's kind of had a falling out with Richard, obviously, because, you know, he wanted all herself. You know, she was saving herself for Richard, but she was like, I gotta have that vampire D. There's some other things involved in it, but that's kind of the short of it all. And basically, she has to figure out what to do with the were-leopards in this story. So the very first books that we get into with the series, it's mostly like vampires and werewolves. There are other were animals in the series that you meet along the way, like were rats and then were leopards and even some other ones in the mix. But this is when you really get into Anita seeing like the pack structure outside of werewolves, which Richard is the leader of. So you're meeting another really important character who will be very, very big and important later on, which is Nathaniel. And this is the catalyst to everything. Lord have mercy. This is when the drama really starts to get good. And even though I only made it to chapter 6 so far, it's okay, because once I start, you know, the momentum's coming. The momentum's coming. And hopefully I can finish it in the month of June. And last, I did not want to pull my big book out for this one, so I'm just going to talk about it. I am listening and then reading on my Kindle Kingsbane by Claire Legrand. That is the second book in the Imperium trilogy, the first book being Furyborn. Another book, it's a slow going listen to, not bad, but yeah, I'm kind of losing interest, but not because I think the book is boring. I think just because my focus is on other objectives, but that's okay. I'm still going to keep moving. I'm really interested in see what happens with Riel. We had the big showdown at the end of book 1. Some other stuff is happening. She's having to continue to prove herself, but the stakes are a little bit higher now in book 2. So I'm very interested, and I really, really hope to finish this series by the end of the year. Okay, so I could knock it off the TBR for all of the adult fantasy. For the love of God, I really need to. But I would like to mention again, I'm still doing really good. So cheers to Gunny. But yes, those are all the books I read in the month of May, and I think I did a damn good job. It was a lot of manga, which I'm really happy about, because even though I have a lot of unread books, now the manga is starting to become the huge mountain that is overshadowing every other series or book that I own that was not manga. And I got to get better control of that because it's getting a little out of hand. But that's okay. With that being said, we're doing good. So in the comments, let me know, are there any of these books that I read that you really liked? Any that you think that I should give, you know, I don't know. Any that I didn't mention that you think I should be reading instead? I mean, why not? Maybe I should just forego any other plans. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Get messy with me. Who knows? Let me know what your opinions are. But thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please like the video. If you like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow me on my social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, StoryGraph, Goodreads, why not? And thank you so much for watching. You have a good day. Goodbye.